To your neighborhood very soon.
Hey guys, Dustin Troyan here with Gary Wales. We're gonna do an update. I haven't done a video in a long time, but I always say to know Gary's to love him. Now there's two people that I've given orange hats to. One is Big Al in the Chevy Club, the other one's to Gary Wales.
Thank you.
Because both men I love, they're incredible, they're great guys, and you know, I'm honored that they wear them. But Gary builds cars like nobody else in the entire world, and you've seen some of our other stories. When I first met him, he really made me frustrated because he came into Supercar Sunday. He stole the show. He parked where he wasn't supposed to park. 500-600 people are around him. I couldn't say a word, and we became best friends. And Gary, what cars do you have here? What are you doing? And this is stuff that nobody's, I mean, you see Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Porsches and Chevys and Fords and hot rods and rat rods and everything, but you have stuff that you build that nobody else has.
Well, that's the point. This here particular engine that's in this chassis is a fire truck engine or a chassis from over 100 years old.
So this is from American La France fire?
American La France.
Okay.
And it's a big one. Now, since I'm giving it an Italian cachet, I made the wheel covers out of pizza pads. Saved a hell of a lot of money I might add too.
You know, I would never have guessed, but they shined up real nice.
Yeah, they did. They polished that up. Yeah. You don't get the burned pizza.
And where did you get the idea to put make
on the internet? Look it up. At $100, you get 4 of them, 5 of them.
And you polished them up.
Polished them. And then there they are.
And they're on an American La France fire truck hot rod Gary Wales creation.
The engine is interesting because it's an aircraft engine from 1917.
1917.
It's a Fiat heavy bomber engine.
Wow.
And it is 21.6 liters, water cooled, and it's an unbelievable piece. So that's
now. But the engine did not come in the La France.
Oh no!
So where did you find the engine?
I bought it out of the Boston Air Museum. They're always looking for money. So
you took a bomber engine.
Yeah.
From 1917.
Yeah, it's an A12. That's what Metastopheles had. The big world record car.
Yeah.
Same engine. Then Leno's got one. Same engine in his big Fiat.
I hear Gary Wales got one too.
And Gary Wales got one too. I had probably bugged the hell out of the rest of them. This is I got it covered because it makes it damn messy here. This is the 1938 Harley Earl first concept car Buick, the Y Job. And it's called the Y Job. I said, what the hell's a Y Job? He said, well, that's an aircraft designation, and he wanted to keep it kind of secret, so they called it the Y Job. And he used it personally as his car from when it was finished in 38. And it was the first concept car, so it went to the car shows. Then in 39, he said, well, I made a few subtle changes. So he did the subtle changes. This went on till 1957.
Wow.
Harley Earl drove this thing all the time, and it changed. It's like 10 different cars. So everything's been done to it. So gentleman bought it. It was his first, it was his dream to have one of this car, and there was no other one. So he retired out of the some business and spent 4 years building this by hand.
Come on, himself.
By hand.
Wow.
And he was a florist, and he built it by hand, and then he croaked right before it was done. Some guy here locally bought it from him, didn't really care about what it was, and I ended up, he kept telling me, it's a cool car, but it's not what I want. I said, well, what do you want? He said, I want a couple hot rods. And I said, bring your car over, and I'll make sure you get your hot rods. He came over, I stuffed a lot of money in the pocket here, gave him a big check, drove him home in my old Nissan truck. He now got his hot rods, and I got the Y Job.
Wow, unbelievable.
In fact, it will be the lead car in the Memorial Day Parade for Canoga Park, and I'll be taking an Admiral.
Love it.
So it's kind of fun. I get to do things like that.
Love it. Well, let's now. What's this? What's this lucky buck?
This is...
Now let me stop everyone right here. So in the car world in Southern California, I know a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people. And there's absolutely nobody like Gary. I've said it tons of times. And Gary's what I call a showman. He's a throwback from an era where you had to back up what you say. And Gary can back up everything he says with fact, with documentation. And this is what he builds at his house with his vision. And now, how old are you nowadays?
85 and a half.
And Gary's got more passion, more love, more energy, more excitement than guys half his age. I love it. So, what's this?
Okay, 3 years ago, a friend of mine came over here and he had this pile of junk on a trailer, and he says, Wales, he says, you give me $1,500 for it. I said, are you out of your mind? I don't want that damn thing. What am I going to do with it? He says, you don't understand. I'm going to give you, the wheels are good, and I'm going to give you 4 new tires. Well, these tires cost almost $1,000 a piece. And I said, yeah, I think that is a good
okay,
deal.
where would you buy a tire like that? I mean, I've got some old cars going back to...
There is not. There's nothing like this in the world.
Well, you can't call Goodyear and say, hey, I need this tire.
A Rio Speedwagon. It was a pickup truck on the back, and that's why it's so long. And what we've decided to do, Andres and I've designed, this stuff comes up in my mind, and I do all the woodwork and the design. Andreas is the genius behind making it work. Without Andreas...
You guys have been working together for how long?
Oh, we've been together for 30 years plus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great guy. Andreas is a great guy.
We've got 4 wheels. And I found 2 more, but it was so long, it looked stupid.
So you threw another axle in.
So we threw another axle under it, and now it's going to be 6 wheels. And this is a 2020 McLaren Speedtail, but it's made out of mahogany with 1,287 screws, all put in mahogany, and they serve absolutely no purpose
other than aesthetics.
Other than the fact they look good. And then I put my iconic fin on the back. And if you look at it, it's like it's a Rio chassis with an Oakland engine, because the Rio engine was bad. So it's a 19 Rio. It's 1917 Rio.
So when you register this to drive it on the street, what do you register it as?
I'm going to register it as a Rio.
Oh, I love it.
I bet I know some people in the car thing that probably get a cop to write this thing right off as a Rio. This I
well, hold
didn't
on.
do.
Let me walk around this thing because,
yep.
You know, folks, I'll tell you something. When Gary comes to Supercar Sunday or any other car show for that matter, and he drives one of these things in, okay, you can search the channel. People go crazy because they're enormous, they're huge, they're loud, they sound great. I've actually recorded a few of them for video games with Warner Brothers, right? And there's nothing like it in the entire world. Nothing like it. And the thing to understand about Gary, right? When I met him,
tell him the story a little bit.
I didn't believe he was who he said he was, and he said, come by the house, and I lived a few blocks away. I jogged by the house for years, didn't realize it was Gary's house. But the fact of the matter is, everything he says, he can back up. And sometimes I feel in this day and age, people brag too much or tell stories about how great they are. And Gary just tells the truth, and it's so unbelievable. It sounds like BS, but listen, the guy's radical. Gary's radical. And you know, people say, you know, Dusty, you always talk so highly of Gary. It's because I love the guy. Because he does it his way. He does it his way, and he doesn't care. And it's his vision. And if you don't like it, that's okay. But I'll tell you what, most people absolutely love it. And when you drive with him in one of these things, here's the damage thing. When you drive one of these cars down the street, Main Street with Gary, the kids, the moms, they have smiles from ear to ear like you can't believe it. They don't know what the hell they're looking at. And that's the best part for me, is the smiles.
Kids love it. It's our obligation to talk to these little kids out. And this is what I admired most about George Barris. Wonderful man. Did the Batmobile, all that stuff. But what George did, he always had time for dumb questions. Well, there's no dumb questions, just dumb answers. And he always talked to the kids. He made time for the kids. And that's so important. If we don't do that, we're going to lose that whole generation to, I did that. Well, what'd you do? Oh, I made a car. Well, where's the car? Oh, it's here.
This is making a car.
This is making a car.
Wow. Unbelievable. So, how long until this one's done?
Oh, as soon as the weather clears, I paint it, bolt it back together.
Whoa, you paint it. You paint
This is it.
Where do you paint it at?
Side of my garage.
And when's that one done?
Oh, I'm waiting for a part. A friend of mine, or a guy that I met, took a piece off of it, a major piece, and said, I'm going to get this fixed for you. I haven't seen him in 3 years, won't answer the phone, and it's really screwed me. It took 3 years of my life.
Wow.
And that's what makes me upset. So we'll take care of that one of these days.
Wow.
They'll come through.
So let's go back to Rusty.
Sure.
So this is just the front garage, ladies and gentlemen. This you had to have.
This I just had to have. Because
And you can go back.
1912 Oldsmobile Defender, and reason I had to have it, it was the most perfect car I'd ever seen. And that's what I pride myself with, details and so forth. Look at these headlights.
Yeah, the lights are incredible.
They're $30,000 worth of headlights. The guy spent $10,000 just having them cleaned and polished and straightened. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the thing
And you wanted to put this inside of your house, but you'd have to take it apart to do
I'd
it,
have to
or
take
knock
it.
down a wall.
Yeah, I couldn't knock down a wall. I sure wasn't hell going to take it apart
Yeah,
because
it's
it'd
perfect.
crack all the paint. But here's what got me. Wheels, they're absolutely on a scale of 1 to 100. A little dirty. Perfect. This is what got me. Look at it. You got a little dent there, so I don't fix the dent. I put a butterfly on it.
Love it.
And now all the women come up and say, oh, isn't that cute? I said, yes, it is. Thank you. But it's unbelievable. And have you ever wondered, the movie, you ever seen it, where the head comes out, looks kind of like that, goes,
Yep.
War of the Worlds? I think that's where he stole the thing from. Is that the head? Anyway, yeah, it's a wonderful little car. Sorry about that. Yeah.
So Gary is just so passionate. It's unbelievable. I don't know if it comes through in the video, but for all of you that have been to his home, I have people come here. I say, Gary, I got a friend that wants to come by. They come here. We brought my friend Jay by.
Yep. Oh, I love him. He's such a
Jay
sweetheart.
is a really, really smart guy. And I just sat down and I absorbed everything they were talking about because Jay knew most everything of all the collectibles Gary has. And it was a day of passion. It was an afternoon of passionate people. And it's just, you're over the top, Gary.
Cool people like to come. And they understand what I mean.
So this is Rusty number 1.
Oh, this is Rusty number 1. I was just looking at a thing.
So was this what you drove in the first time to Supercar Sunday?
Yep. And in that year, when I drove it in there, we had won, I think I just found the paperwork, 21 best of shows in a row.
So Gary,
major event.
So I had Ferrari Day, and I had 200 Ferraris show up to Supercar Sunday, and that's when getting 200 Ferraris together was a big deal. And social media wasn't huge. Gary drives in with this and another vehicle that he built the same size. Pulls in, it says Ferrari parking only. He pulls in to my Ferrari parking area and takes over the entire show. And I'm marching over there to give him the business, to scream at him. Before I could do that, he's got literally 500, 800 people around him, right? And I couldn't say a word because I looked like the bad guy. And the next week he rolled in, and I said, sir, may I talk to you? He said, sure, what do you want to talk about? And I said, well, you can't just come into Supercar Sunday. He goes, well, okay, whatever you want. Come by the house, check out the cars. I said, where do you live? And he told me, and I said, I think I know your house. He goes, well, so I came by, and you see things like this. World record, 1.76. Right there.
That is considered now the #1 post-war Bentley in the world.
In the world.
Frog skin interior. What's funny, we were in Paris and I put frog skin in, little backs, and got them out of the Philippines. And the one of the judges, the French judge, he says, "Mon ami, I do not understand the significance of the little amphibians." And I looked at him and said, "You don't know you're being called frogs because you eat frogs?" That was unbelievable. And by the way, this is
Bill
one of
Curtis did the Rob report, and Robert Ross. You know Robert Ross, who's the automotive director. I mean, you come in here and you see this stuff, and you look.
See that one?
Yeah.
That was in 1983. I found that had been after the fires. That was in mudslide and the fire. That one ended up in '84 winning the Great American Race, which was the single largest amount, or I think highest priced goodie that ever happened.
Wow.
One of them. And
Barris.
that's what the car was when it was all done in 1 year.
Yeah, there's you and Barris, Andreas and Barris.
And it's not bragging if you're telling the truth.
No, that's the hard part, is that Gary's done so much from an automotive perspective.
This is the
There's you and Jay.
That's how we found it. That's it, 6 months to the day on the lawn at Pebble Beach. And it's since I paid $3,000 for it and restored it, did it, but you made all sorts of stuff for it. I sold it and did really well with it. Guy in Las Vegas paid $4.6 million for it.
Wow.
I mean, unbelievable. But I didn't get into that. I always saw Ferraris. I've had 11 Ferraris pre.
You had Ferraris before it was cool to have Ferraris.
Yeah, and I had them, and it was just
What
another
year?
old
What
car.
year did you buy your first Ferrari? Do you think?
I would buy 64. I think, and
1964.
That was the,
How old were you in 1964?
That was the bread van.
So Gary owned the bread van Ferrari.
$2,800 they paid for it. The guy just, well, not just, but years ago, turned down 37.5 million. Said to the guy, "Come back when you grow up and you have enough money."
So we're almost at the 20-minute mark.
For anything.
We're almost at the 20-minute mark, so I'm going to sign off because it's getting too long. But this is a quick update. I always say to know Gary's to love him. There's nobody in the car world like Gary. And you know what? In the whole world, there may be nobody like you.
They're probably lucky.
So we'll get more. But if you come to Supercar Sunday, Gary's there all the time. And I always have a good parking spot for him. I say to know Gary's to love him. Say hello. Gary's a living legend. He makes your life better knowing Gary.
Thank you, Dustin. No time to say hello. Goodbye. It's late.
We'll see you later. Like, subscribe. We'll see you soon.